Hi and welcome. Today I'll show you how to use the Zoom H4n or H4n Pro as a 2-in 2-out audio interface with audio sampling rates of either 44.1 or 48 kHz. This will allow you to record to a computer using XLR microphones or an instrument with a 1/4-inch jack output. If you stick around, I test recorded with a few different microphones using the Zoom Handy Recorder as an audio interface so you can hear what it sounds like. Now, although the Zoom H4n and H4n Pro look slightly different, they both function in a similar way, so these instructions apply to both devices. First, you need 3 things to use your Zoom recorder as an audio interface. Obviously, a Zoom H4n or H4n Pro recorder, then the USB cable that came with your device, and a desktop or laptop computer. You don't even need a power supply or batteries in the recorder, since it will draw 5-volt bus power from your computer's USB port. What you need to do is use that USB cable to connect your Zoom H4n or H4n Pro to the USB port on your computer. What you do next depends on whether your Zoom H4n is powered on or powered off. If it's powered on, press the menu button to go into the menu screen. Then scroll down and select USB. Then press the scroll dial. On the next screen, select Audio IF. Then choose your desired sampling rate by selecting Frequency and pressing the scroll dial. The available options are 44.1 or 48 kHz. Finally, select Connect and press the scroll dial. If you're using the recorder in a powered off state, then when you connect your device to your computer using the USB cable, it'll automatically turn on and boot up to the USB menu screen. What you need to do then is select Audio IF and press the scroll dial. Then choose Frequency and again press the scroll dial. The available options again are 44.1 or 48 kHz. Choose the one that you want and press the scroll dial. Finally, select Connect and press the scroll dial. Now, it may take a few seconds for the connection to be established, but eventually the H4n will display USB Audio IF and it'll show a 2-channel audio meter. If you don't see the level bars moving on the meter, make sure that you've chosen an active input. For instance, if you want to use the built-in microphones, press the Mic Input button. If you still don't see any movement on the audio meter, check that the record level isn't turned down. Finally, what you might find if you're using XLR microphones is that you might have to unplug and plug the microphone back in again. Now that my laptop and Zoom H4n are connected, let's try recording. I'm going to record into Adobe Audition, but you could use Audacity, which is a free recording app. In Audition's preferences, under Channel Mapping, I've got the Zoom H4n set as my input and output. You can see it shows up as just H4. So we're now set to go. First up, I'm recording with a Sennheiser Me66 condenser mic. It's plugged into the XLR input 1 on the H4n. The output of this Sennheiser microphone is relatively high, so I can keep the input level slider on the Zoom H4n relatively low. I think I've set it to a level of 35 out of 100. I've changed to a dynamic microphone now. This is a Boya M1 NC that I picked up some time ago. I think it must be about 30 years old now. It's a hypercardioid dynamic microphone. So this is the Boya M1 NC recording into the H4n. The previous 2 microphones are professional grade. This is certainly not in the same category. I can't remember what the brand is. I think it's a rebrand of something. In some ways it looks similar, I think, to a Samsung CO1, but I don't think it is. Here's another inexpensive microphone. It's a Samson CO2 condenser pencil mic. I think a pair cost about $100. I could have plugged both microphones into the Zoom H4n. That way I could have recorded a stereo image, or it could be for a situation where I've got a guest with me and I wanted to record my voice and my guest voice on separate tracks. My next setup is an Audio-Technica ATR 3350 lavalier microphone. Here it is on my shirt. I've got it plugged into the 3.5mm external mic socket on the back of the H4n recorder, and because the output from this microphone is relatively low, I've had to increase the recording level. I've now switched over to this Boya M1 lavalier microphone that can be picked up for around $15 on Amazon, but the output level on this is much higher than on the ATR 3350, and I think the sound is also different. Finally, well, as far as microphones are concerned, I'm using the built-in XY microphone module. So in effect, I'm using the Zoom H4n as a stereo USB microphone. I will be making a separate video about using the Zoom recorder this way and showing you how you can make it sound a lot better. Last of all, I've got a Cherub acoustic pickup, and that's going to clip onto the scroll of a violin. The other end has got a 1/4-inch jack, and that'll go into one of the combi inputs on the H4n. Rachel's going to play a simple scale on the violin for us. Rachel, over to you. Thank you very much indeed. Well, it recorded, although I do think I could do with a better pickup than this one. But at least it demonstrated that you can record an instrument that has an electric output into the H4n and then to a laptop or computer. If you plugged a mic into the other XLR input, you could record an instrument and a vocal on separate channels at the same time, which could be very useful indeed. Now that we've finished recording, we need to disconnect the Zoom H4n audio interface from the laptop. To do that, press the menu button and select Disconnect. Then select Yes to confirm. Wait for the device to save data, then the screen will return to the Audio IF screen. You can now safely remove the USB cable from the H4n recorder. So that's how to use the Zoom H4n or H4n Pro as a USB audio interface. Please like, share and subscribe if you found this video useful. It helps me make more. And to make sure you don't miss any new videos, hit that notification bell. Finally, you can find in-depth articles on my website, DIYvideostudio.com. I'll put a link down in the description. I wish you well and look forward to seeing you again next time.